through Moses, what is he giving us? He's giving us a reason. For those who may say, but Lord, so many commandments, so many things to do, so many things to not do, so many things to abstain from, so many things to keep doing better and better. Why, Lord? This is a little hard sometimes. God is giving you a reason so that it may be well with you, so that things will work out for you, man. I have made you too small in my eyes. Oh Lord, forgive me. I have believed in a lie that you were unable to help me. But now, oh Lord, I see my wrong. Heal my heart and show yourself strong. And in my eyes and with my soul, oh Lord, be magnified. Oh Lord, be magnified. Be magnified, oh Lord. You are highly exalted, and there is nothing you can do. Oh Lord, my eyes on you. Be magnified. Oh Lord, be magnified. Sin has been connected with happiness so much, and our holiness has not been connected with this so much, you see. But we need to recognize that that is a lie. It is a lie promoted by the devil. The world is promoting it, but we should not be accepting that lie. We should know better and we should live better. That's the point. But that's not enough. It's not enough to just realize that sin won't give you happiness. It's not enough to realize sin will bring misery. A lot of people, they stop with that. You know, a lot of churches, they try to get the people to live holy, and they preach fire and brimstone sermons. What do they say? If you sin, God will send His fire and brimstone, His wrath. He will pour it out on you. He will punish you. If you keep sinning, God will punish you. If you keep sinning, bad things are going to happen. See, what they're saying is sin will make your life miserable. Is that true? Yes, that is true. Sin, if you continue in sin, it will make your life miserable. But the thing is, that's not the best way to motivate a person to grow in holiness. We have to go one step beyond that. We have to recognize sin's promise of happiness is a lie. Number two, this is the most important step. We need to realize the truth. What is the truth? Holiness will bring happiness. Let me say it again. Holiness will bring. Can you say it with me? Holiness will bring happiness. Have you ever thought of that like that? Holiness will bring satisfaction. Holiness will bring pleasure. Holiness will bring reward. Holiness will bring gain. Holiness will bring profit. Well, you may wonder, wow, that sounds weird. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 4. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7. Holiness will bring happiness. See, this is how we counter sin's promise of happiness. Sin is saying, you come, I'll make you happy. We counter it not by just saying, no, you're lying. We counter it by saying beyond that, no, my holy living will bring me happiness. By living holy, I will experience happiness. 1 Timothy 4, chapter 7. Have nothing to do with irreverent, silly myths. Rather, train yourself for godliness. Train yourself for godliness. Some translations will say, exercise godliness. Now, godliness, as you know, is connected with holiness, right? It's saying be godly, serve God, do what God says, don't do other stuff. Do God's will, right? That's godliness. So it's very much connected with holiness, what we are talking about. So he's saying exercise holiness. That means do it. Be godly. Verse 8. While bodily training is of some value. Bodily training. What is he talking about? He's talking about exercising in the gym. Do you exercise? Bodily exercise. That's what he's talking about. Some translations will put exercise. Do you do any exercise? You walk, you run, you lift weights, you go to the gym, you go to the swimming pool, swim, do something. I hope you exercise in some way, because sometimes today many people living sedentary lifestyle, just in front of a computer all day, and then go home in front of the TV, But that's not good for us, not good for our heart and so on. We all know we need to exercise, do something, walking, something, right? Now, is exercise good for us? Yes, it helps us grow in good health and so on, right? It certainly has a lot of benefits. Exercise has a lot of benefits. I'm sure you know that. Paul is talking about bodily exercise, and he says exercise is of some value. He says it's not much value, some value only. Godliness, watch him, verse 8. Godliness is of value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come. Very interesting. He says, exercise will give you some benefits only. When you go to the gym, you'll only get some benefits. What? You'll feel good, you'll lose some weight, your heart will be strong and healthy, and other health benefits, yes. But godliness is of far greater value, he says. Godliness, why? Because it is of value in every way. My ESV translation says, every way. Some other translations will say, in all things. Everybody say all things. The New King James, I think, is best. It says, godliness is profitable for all things. The word profit is used there. Profitable for all things. Some other translations say, godliness is profitable in every way. Every way. All things. Your holiness will affect every area of your life. When you increase in your holiness, in your godliness, it will be profit to you. It will bring profit to you in every single area of your life. Now think about that. Some people don't like the teaching, they think holiness, well, that's a little boring, Prosperity, that's, exciting, but holiness is boring. That's exactly what this verse is saying. No. Godliness is profitable for all things in every way. It will affect, as you grow in your holiness, it will have an effect on your family life. It will have an effect on your work success. It will have an effect in, you name it, whatever area it is, it will have an effect. That is why it is of far greater value than going to the gym and exercising your body. That will only give you certain benefits only in certain areas of your life. But exercising, growing in holiness and godliness will bring profit in every area of your life. That's what Paul is. Look what he's saying here. It holds promise. Look, wonderful words. Godliness is of value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come. A lot of people think holiness is useful only for going to heaven. Why should you be holy? Only if you're holy, you'll go to heaven. This is how they preach in many churches also. If you're not holy, you won't go to heaven. If you're holy only, God will let you enter heaven. So they only connect holiness and heaven, as the holiness is good for nothing other than taking you to heaven. What does Paul say here? Godliness is profitable for all things. It holds promise for this life and the next life. This life and not just heaven, this life. Everybody say this life. That means what? What you're going to do tomorrow. Your holiness is going to affect that. Your project, your holiness is going to affect that. The relationship you have with your wife, your husband, your holiness is going to affect that. It will affect everything. If you grow in holiness, everything will become better. It will become profitable. That's what Paul is saying. He's telling Timothy, you pay most attention to this godliness because this will bring benefits, profit. Everybody say profit. Interesting word he's using there. In 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 6, Paul says, godliness with contentment is great, what? Gain. Another interesting word, gain and profit. These are words that are used in the financial sector. Guys who are sitting all day looking at stocks and looking when it will go up, When will I get the profit? Investors, they think about profit and gain. Paul is saying, forget about them. You will get profit and gain in every way, including whatever they get. If you pay attention to this, you believe that? Do you believe this, my friend? It requires faith to believe this. Not everybody is ready to believe it. Do you have faith to believe this? Your increase in holiness will help you in every single way. It will help you be more successful at work, in your family, and so on and so forth. Let's go to another passage here. Deuteronomy. We need to think like this. We need to think that holiness is going to help us in every way. It's going to bring profit, gain. We're going to gain by this, not lose by this. So why do I say this? When you are tempted and sin is telling you, you badmouth this guy, you put him down so that you can come up in your company. What is the counter that how do you counter that offer? You say, no. Godliness is profitable for all things in this life and the life to come. Therefore, I'm not going to do this. This is not godly behavior. I'm going to be godly in this matter. I'm not going to badmouth him along with the rest of my team. I'm going to wait. And God will give me gain, profit. He will lift me up. You see, that's how you counter these sins offer of gain and profit. Sin is saying, you come with me, you come do what I say, I'll give you profit. You say, no. Godliness will bring me profit. That's what we're talking about this. Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 28. Be careful to obey all these words that I command you, that it may go well with you and with your children after you forever, when you do what is good and right in the sight of the Lord your God. He's just given some commandments. And then Moses here is saying, be careful to obey all these words, means commandments, that I command you. Why? He's giving a reason here, so that it may go well with you. Notice how he's giving a reason. See? He's motivating the people by giving a reason to obey the commandments. Have your children asked you? You tell them to do something. Have they responded by saying, why should I do it? Have you ever heard that? Why? But why? How do you respond to that? When you're patient, you'll give reasons. But when you're not patient, what do? What do you mean, why? I said so, so you do it. What do you mean? A command is to be obeyed, not questioned. I commanded you, you go there and you do this. You better go there and do. Don't ask why. Don't ask me. Have you done that? God could easily say, this is my commandments. These are my commandments. You do it because I said so. Go. You don't need any more reason. But through Moses, what is he giving us? He's giving us a reason. For those who may say, but Lord, so many commandments, so many things to do, so many things to not do, so many things to abstain from, so many things to keep doing better and better. Why, Lord? This is a little hard sometimes. God is giving you a reason so that it may be well with you, so that things will work out for you, man. Some people they view the law in the wrong way, The law, the commandments, they get irritated. Oh, so many things. Do this, don't do this, don't. Why? Why? So that it may go well with you. Why did God give so many laws? Why did God give so many commandments, do's and don'ts? So that it may go well with you. Moses is looking at the people. You've been taught a lot about Deuteronomy recently by my father, teaching material prosperity, right? And what did he say about Deuteronomy? Deuteronomy is Moses' interpretation of the law. Did he say that? You remember that? Deuteronomy is Moses' teaching, preaching, interpretation, view of the commandments of God, right? The law of God, the principles of God. What does Moses think about the law? How does Moses think about the law? He thinks of the law in this way. You need to do it so that you can be well. What is the motivation for Moses to do it? So that you can be well. So that it may go well with you. One translation says, so that all may go well with you. That is the meaning. So that all may go well with you. Not once, but again and again. Read another verse. 4:40. Deuteronomy 4:40. Again and again, Deuteronomy. Moses says this. Therefore, you shall keep his statutes and his commandments shall command you today, that it may go well with you, with your children after you. He says, not just with you, man, not just so everything will work out for you, your children after you, and that you may prolong your days in the land. He's saying, I want you to be well. More than that, God wants you to be well. God wants everything to work out for you. That is why these laws are there, so that you will not keep yourself from getting his blessings by living in sin, you see. Okay, I hope you can see here. Happiness is used as a motivator. Can you see that? Happiness is used as a motivator. Moses is saying, do this, man. Again and again. Let me just read some references. I'm not going to read it. I'll give you the reference. If you want to note it down, you note it down. Otherwise, you don't want, okay? In all these verses that I'm going to give you, Moses says, do these commandments so that it may go well with you. Do these commandments so that it may go well with you. Here are the references. 5:16, Deuteronomy 5:16, 5:33, 6:2 and 3, 11:9. I'm just reading chapter verse, okay? Chapter 12, 25 and 28 verses. Chapter 22, verse 7. Again and again, you go read the book of Deuteronomy and underline every time it says, so that it may go well with you. God wants you to be well. That is why he has given us the commandments. That is why he wants us to be holy. That is why he wants us to grow in holiness, so that we may be well. There is a purpose for holiness, and one of the purposes for holiness is that we should what? Be well. You ever thought of holiness like that? It has a purpose. The purpose is you should be well. It's not right to think God doesn't care whether I'm well or not. He only cares if I'm holy. Wrong. He wants you to be well. That's why he's telling you, live holy, you see. The Bible again and again connects holy living with successful living. Holy living with happy living. Let's go to Psalm 1. Psalm 1. But the world promotes the wrong idea, you see. And Christians also largely promote the wrong idea. They don't see the connection. Psalm 1, everybody knows this psalm, right? What's the first word of Psalm 1? Blessed. Have you ever thought about that? The first word of Psalm 1 is blessed. You think that has any significance? That it's the first word? Scholars on the Psalms, they say that by putting the first word as blessed, this means something not just for this psalm, but for the entire book of Psalms. If you go read the experts on the book of Psalms, that's what they say. They say because it's the first word in the first psalm in an entire collection of psalms, which again and again talks about blessed, blessed, blessed. You go see in the Psalms, read the Psalms, every day one psalm. You see how many times the word blessed, blessed, blessed comes, okay? So blessed is a very important word in the book of Psalms. One scholar goes so far as to say, one of the main themes of the book of Psalms is you can be blessed. Now, he doesn't use the word blessed, okay? Now, let's go to that. What does the word blessed mean? What does the word blessed mean? You know, if you look at the Hebrew word here, and you go look up Hebrew dictionaries, any dictionary, the first word you will find mentioned is the word happy. The word what? Happy. Ever say happy? Happy. If you go look at other translations, some translations will also say happy. For example, if you look up the Amplified Bible, it will say blessed, and then in brackets it will say 4 other meanings for blessed. The first meaning it gives is happy. Happy, okay? Now, if you look at the Greek translation of the Hebrew Old Testament, the Old Testament was written in the Hebrew language, okay? And then it was translated into Greek before the time of Jesus and the disciples. And that is the Bible that they used a lot during the time of Jesus and the disciples. See, when Jesus and disciples lived, they knew Hebrew and Greek. It's like us knowing today Tamil and English. Tamil is our mother tongue for some of us, right? For others, it's other mother tongues, right? So we know our mother tongue, but we also know English. Why? English is a main language today. All over the world, it's the main language. In Jesus' day, when he lived, his mother tongue was Aramaic, but he also knew Hebrew. The spoken form was Aramaic. But he also knew Greek, because Greek was like English that day. Alexander conquered the world before Jesus came in and spread the Greek language all over the place. So that Greek was like English that day, okay? And so Jesus and the disciples knew Hebrew, they knew Aramaic, they also knew Greek, and they knew and they read the Greek Old Testament. There was a Greek translation, it's called the Septuagint. In the Septuagint, if you go to Psalm 1:1, the word you find there is makarios, which again you go look up the Greek dictionaries, you will find the first meaning listed as happy, happy, happy. Now what does this word happy mean? Some people have the wrong idea of happiness, but let me give you the right idea of happiness, okay? Happiness. They define it like this: the satisfaction that comes from experiencing the fullness of something. Let me say that again. What is happiness? Understood in the right way, it is the satisfaction that comes from experiencing the fullness of something. So they're saying whenever you see happiness in Hebrew or Greek, the person who's happy is receiving something and he is getting satisfied as a result of receiving something. Now, what is this man in Psalm 1 receiving? This man is called happy, right? So the way we read it is, happy is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. See, it's talking about the man who doesn't engage in sin, right? He doesn't go along with the wicked, the sinners. He doesn't, even walk in their way or stand in their way, or certainly he does not sit. He does not sin. It's talking about a man who does not sin, but not only that, it's talking about a man who delights in the law of the Lord, who meditates on his law day and night. Now, let me ask you, if somebody is there, let us just imagine there is somebody who delights in the law. Law means what? The commandments. Somebody who delights in the commandments of the Lord. Can you imagine such a person? Delighting, not just reading them, not just doing them, but everybody say delight. Imagine there's somebody who delights in God's commandments, okay? And he meditates on it day and night. Now let me ask you, is that person a holy person or not? Yes. He's not going to delight in the commandments, meditate on it day and night, and then go and do all the sinful activity. You know what I mean? That person is truly holy. He is in fact a grown holy person. He has grown a lot in the area of holiness. It's talking about a person who has grown a lot in the area of holiness. It's saying that kind of man is happy. And then it tells us why he is happy. What makes him happy? How did this happiness come to him? Look at verse 3. Why do we say he's happy? He's like a tree planted by streams of water. Streams of water. It's not saying an ocean, no, where the water is running too fast and it's useless water to grow anything, at least tree, right? It's not saying stagnant water either. Stagnant water is dangerous. All kinds of bad things are in it. Infection will come out of it. It's talking about streams of water. The scholars say it's talking about a slowly moving, steadily moving stream of water. That's what it is referring to. What is happening here is a holy person. I'm talking about a person grown in holiness, right? Who has grown to a certain extent. He has really improved in holiness. He's delighting in God's commandments. What is he like? He is like a tree. He is like a certain kind of tree. What kind of tree? The kind of tree that is planted by streams of water. Let's clap our hands. The Bible says, enter its gates with thanksgiving. Enter his gates with thanksgiving. Come into his courts with praise. enter his presence rejoicing, singing great and mighty is his name. Praise him with the sound of the trumpet, praise him with the timbrel and harp, and every creature in heaven and lift the sound of praise, sing with all their heart. For the Lord is good, 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 and his mercy endureth forever. For the Lord is good, 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 and his mercy endureth forever. For the Lord is good, and his mercy endureth forever. Jesus the Son is exalted, maker of everything. Come now and bow down before him. Lift your hands in praise, raise your voice to sing. For the Lord is good, 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 and his mercy endureth forever. For the Lord is good, 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 and his mercy endureth forever. For the Lord is good, 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 and his mercy endureth forever. Everybody, the Lord is good. For the Lord is good, 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 and his mercy endureth forever. For the Lord is good, and his mercy endureth forever. For the Lord is good, and his mercy endureth forever.